2 years ago, I had the incredible privilege of being in Israel in the run-up to Chanukah. And it's hard for somebody who lives outside of the Jewish state to fully comprehend the level to which Israelis celebrate Chanukah. In the weeks that lead up to Chanukah, suddenly you start to see a change in the shops. And this could be any shop, just a small little makolet, a small corner grocery store, or even a hardware store. Suddenly they are starting to sell olive oil, wicks, candles, menorahs, all different types of menorahs. Cheap little menorahs made out of lead or tin, some of them made out of plastic. And then you go into the fancy silver stores and you see beautiful, beautiful menorot for thousands and thousands of dollars. And then there's the bakeries. You go into the bakeries and already a few weeks before Chanukah, what do you see? Sufganiyot, the famous donuts that are enjoyed over the festival. And it's not just a plain jam donut or even a vanilla or a chocolate donut. There are tons and tons of different types of donuts. Donuts with caramel in them, and donuts with this topping and that topping, and big donuts. And every bakery is competing with one another. And then Chanukah arrives. And it's absolutely beautiful. You go past an apartment building and you see in this apartment building, there could be 40, 50 apartments. In every window is a menorah. You see it flickering, you see those lights. In the streets, they put up big menorot. Often the Chabad movement does it. And there's a sense of such festivity in the air. It's already cold, it's winter. Many of the schools take off for Chanukah. And there's an incredible sense of celebration. And this celebration is whether one is religious or secular, in different ways, but everybody is celebrating Chanukah. And it dawned on me that there is something very, very strange here, something very, very strange. And that is, if one thinks about it, Chanukah is not even mentioned in the Bible. It's a festival that happened way after the close of the biblical canon, in the times of the Second Temple with the Greeks. It's not even like Purim that has its own book in the Bible, the Megillah of Esther, or its own book in the Talmud. Tractate Megillah. Chanukah doesn't even have its own book in the Talmud. It's just mentioned almost as a tangent subject in the laws of Shabbat, in the Tractate Shabbat, when the Talmud speaks about the lighting of Shabbat candles. It's almost like non-existent. And yet it has been embraced by every section of the Jewish community, especially in Israel, with such festivity. Isn't that strange? One would think that a festival that comes to us directly from Hashem, from the Torah, should be celebrated more. And yet it is this rabbinic festival that is celebrated. And there's an incredible irony in that people who are not even keeping Torah laws are keeping a rabbinical law, a rabbinical festival, because that's what Chanukah is. And why is this so? One might say that is the incredible power of the oral tradition, that Jews are so connected to the oral tradition. Even though it's not something that's in the written law, but this is something that has been handed over from generation to generation. But I think there's another deeper idea, and that is what Chanukah represents. Chanukah represents, in the words of that famous prayer that we say on Chanukah, Ala Nisim, that it represents the fact that the small had power over the mighty, and that the few had power over the many. If we look at the Chanukah victory, all of the odds were against the Maccabees. They were a small little crowd. It was a small army. They didn't even have support from all of the Jewish community. And yet they were able to overthrow this mighty part of the Greek Empire. How did they do it? It was a miraculous victory. And yet they were able to withstand it. And I think that's why in particular the state of Israel has embraced Chanukah, because that's what happened to the state of Israel when it was born in 1948. A small little army, without proper arms and ammunition and without aircraft. And yet they were the ma'atim, they were the few, and they were facing the many, and yet they were able to be victorious. And this, in fact, is the secret and the mystery and the enigma of the Jewish people. We may be small, we may be tiny in terms of our population, but we have the power, we have miraculous survival. And that's why the Jewish people celebrate Chanukah. I wish you all a Chag Sameach. It should be an incredible time of light for the Jewish people across the world.